Yeah, so guys, let's start. I think it's our fourth or fifth community group meeting. And as usual, we do have the format discussion. Everyone can participate and we encourage it. I'm mostly moderating this discussion, and the recording with summary will be published in several days after. And we have the following topics. First of all is Hydra Cache presentation of the product. And the second topic is fungible token standard with Darkpool. Third one is benchmarks of near ZK Lite client. And the fourth one is ZK with NFT unlockables. And actually, if we'll not have enough time, we can just pick the most interesting topic you consider and move one of the topics to the next meeting. So I'll transfer the word to Rafael, to you, or to Peter.
Hey guys, we are the three founders here. So there's me, Pedro, and João as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so should we start right now?
Yes, let's start. I remember we haven't covered the product side on the previous call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so previous call, we briefly explained a bit about that, as you mentioned, the product side and what we're doing. Just a quick update, and then I guess it's nice for us to talk about the tech side, which I see that was lacking on our last call. And also, I think that might be there might be some things that help all of you guys that are building zero knowledge here inside Near. So currently, we are going through a rebranding from Hydra Cache to be called OPACT, which stands for On-Chain Private and Compliant Transactions. And we're looking at a broader spectrum, because at the beginning we were just a mixer with the compliant features, and now we're looking more on how to bring we're looking to more options on how to bring privacy on chain, not just having a standard mixer. I don't know if Rafa or João want to complement. If not, I'll pass the word to João to dig a bit more deeper into tech.
Sure. You guys hear me right there? Excellent.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of aspects that I'd like to share with you guys. And one of them is I saw on the group chat there on Telegram during the last couple of weeks, a lot of people having issues implementing verifiers on Near, and I feel like we could, like as a whole, help everyone like post and share the verifying tools and the integrations that have already been built. And I mean, since NearCon last year, we actually built a Graph16 verifier that was compatible with Snark.js and CircumStack. And this year, we also built a verifier that's compatible with the Plonk implementation from Snark.js as well. So we have both of those tools open source. They are on our public repos and also on Crazy.io. And I feel like we could actually, as a community, help this material get to the hands of people that are trying to develop ZK. So it would be great for us in this meeting to get something going in terms of a release page or something else that can help people reach those tools. I know other teams have also been built verifiers, and it would also be great to have everything in a single place and easily accessible for everyone. On the tech side of things, I feel like there are two interesting things about OPACT, previously Hydra Cache, as it's still written on the website. And the first is how it works at this point in time, so how we implemented the compliance feature. And the second is our planned V2, because this version we have online right now is kind of a proof of concept. We were wanting to show it around and test it out, but we haven't really given it any marketing effort or any larger promotion, because we know it's not enough to actually build a really cool, really usable app that can actually scale to the masses. So the way we built the initial technology is a very simple circuit. It's a Merkle tree proof. So we're essentially proving that we know a secret that has been committed to a Merkle tree, as Tornado Cash worked on Ethereum, and as many different ZK apps work. And right now, but we're also able to add a second feature. And the second feature is what we call an allow list inclusion proof. So whenever someone wants to interact with the protocol, they need to be inserted into the allow list. And this happens through the smart contract. And
Yes, sorry for interrupting you. I do have the architecture you can show on the screen.
I do. Let me just try to handle this in my PC
Yeah.
here, because my Zoom's a little buggy.
No worries.
1 second.
I think I need to stop presenting.
Yeah, that makes it easier. Now I can see my screen. Thanks. Let me just get my other cache docs here.
Max, I think possibly we need to grant access to join.
Yep, I just
me see.
just handed him the co-host.
Okay.
Should
Okay.
be able to share screen.
Yeah, now I'm able to share it. Let me just find my docs here. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm not finding my picture at this point. I'm only finding the text version of the documentation. I don't know where I put it. Really sorry. This. I'm gonna try to show it to you guys through the text version, but I'll send over in the group chat the images once I find them. We have some diagrams showing how everything works. I'm only finding this one right now. So. Can you guys actually see my screen right now?
Yep.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we can see his screen.
Yes.
So yeah, so this is essentially how a normal transaction works. So I think we're all familiar with mixing. So normal transactions account A sends to account B, and the mixed transactions we're actually sending to a smart contract and then from the smart contract to another account, and you cannot like really connect which account here sent to the account there. So this is how basic mixing works. And but the real charm in this application is the AML mechanism. And this is why I'm sorry, because our diagrams are not here and I don't remember where I put them. So I'm gonna have to send them to you later. But essentially we have the allow list. What is the allow list? The allow list is a list that accounts need to be added to if they want to transact with the protocol. So let's say my name is joao.near and I want to send money through HydraCash through OPECT. I have to get into the allow list. And this is the main problem, because here is how we control AML. Getting to the allow list depends into the evaluation from a third party. Right now we're integrating with HappyOne. For those that don't know, HappyOne, they are a security provider for blockchain. And they essentially work on Near and also on Ethereum. And they provide you with kind of a open source security scores protocol and API. And what we do is we set a maximum threshold of like risk scores for everyone that wants to interact with the protocol. So if Joao.near wants to deposit into HydraCash, Joao.near actually needs to first go through an evaluation there. That happens like through a single transaction in Near, because it's integrated into their smart contracts. And if my risk score is below the threshold, I'm accepted and I can transact. If it's not, I cannot. And as soon as I'm allowed into the allow list, I can deposit money into the mixer, and anyone can withdraw it. To withdraw money, the account that withdraws the money doesn't need to be in the whitelist, in the allow list. But there's a special mechanism here that doesn't allow people to like get a good score. Like first insert yourself into the allow list, then do a hack or do something malicious, and use the app because you are already in the allow list. We can actually deny list people as well. So we have a bot running into the background that's checking for all the new insertions into the Happy One database. And whenever someone that is in the allow list has an insertion of a wrongdoing, so has their score reduced, we actually deny list them into the contract, which stops them from being able to deposit new funds and actually stops people from withdrawing the funds that they have initially deposited. So this is where the secret comes into play. And again, this is going to be more clear when I give you guys the diagram. I can find it right now. Sorry for this. But what happens is we have a Merkle tree into the contract. So whenever someone's added, we simply add that to the Merkle tree and update the root. And whenever we remove someone from the allow list because we deny listed them, we just substitute that their commitment into the Merkle tree for a new commitment. And what this does is whenever I provide a proof to actually withdraw the funds, this proof must contain the commitment of the initial depositor. And if that initial depositor has been deny listed, then the deposit that they made is not going to be withdrawable by anyone else. It's going to get locked into the contract until they can actually prove that they are not criminals. They submit some evidence to the Happy One DAO, but their money is essentially locked. And you guys might ask me, like, but what good does it do if the funds are locked forever and not returned to their rightful owner? Or even how can I be sure that the funds are locked? Because someone might just have first like deposited their funds into the application, withdrawn them, and we only deny listed them after the withdrawal. And this is kind of the beauty of the mechanism. It works in a similar way to how optimistic rollups work in Ethereum is through game theory. So the basic idea is we have a bot running that's really fast and that's going to get every single new hack into the deny list. And at the same time, for you to actually be anonymous through a mixer, you can't just like deposit and withdraw the money instantaneously. You need to keep the money in there for a certain amount of time, for a certain number of transactions to happen in between your deposit and withdrawal, for you to actually be able to withdraw without anyone suspecting where your money went to. And this is essentially a game. So whenever a hacker wants to deposit the protocol and try to withdraw before they get flagged, they're running a risk. Because as soon as they get flagged, their funds are locked forever. And if they just withdraw really fast, they don't really get anonymity because they actually need more time to it. And any competent investigator can actually figure out where the money went if they don't have enough time into the pool. And essentially what this does is it makes it totally unviable for anyone that's hacking a protocol or performing money laundering to use the protocol, because the risk of losing their funds or not getting anonymity is too high. And that essentially that proposal depends on a simple formula, which is the time for detection of a hacking plus the time for actually deny list detection must be smaller than the time required for a transaction to become anonymous into the protocol. As long as you can maintain that inequation true, the protocol is going to be safe against hackers and money launderers using it. And the more transactions you get into the protocol, so the more people are using it, the less the time to actually become anonymous becomes. So in this case, if the time to become anonymous just keeps reducing, our spotting solutions and our deny list bots have to get more efficient as we grow in volume. So basically, the challenge for this to scale is that we have to improve our detection and our flagging of malicious transactions as we grow the protocol, which does look a lot in line with the growth of a protocol. If you look at Ethereum, if you look at like more robust protocols than here at this point in the number of users terms, we're actually going to get more firms looking into analytics. We're going to get more interested into providing this kind of data. So it's our hypothesis that this protocol is going to scale well if Near also scales. So if we get more volume, because the network gets more volume, we're also going to have access to more efficient flagging tools and more efficient ways of identifying who is performing wrongdoing into the application. And this is basically how the entire AML mechanism works right now. It's a simple Merkle tree proof inclusion that on the on-chain side works together with an API for risk scores of accounts. Want to compliment me on anything further?
No, I guess you have it all. I'm pretty sure people have some questions, so perhaps we should, I don't know if that's the moment.
Yeah, I think I do have some questions. Have you considered about the approach of there is know your customer, know your assets, and know your transaction approach, where the user not only proves the identity, for example, but also proves the origin of assets, and then proves that transaction is generating is from the assets he already has pre-approved. And the idea here is that to use, like it's for you, the question and possible idea to look for the tools like chain analysis or crystals or some, I don't know, some others who can help not to spend your time and money on monitoring the hex and the actual the output of mixers and so on, and to help you integrate the verification solutions to your product. So user will need to generate some proof or some response, or it will be just a transaction from, for example, chain analysis, who will just get back the, so actually they are monitoring the blockchain, but they can get back this info to the chain, and your contract can verify. For example, it can be like a message about this address and assets on it on this exact moment of time are clear and okay. And for example, it can be like in the same transaction.
That makes sense. And Anton, do you happen to know if Chain Analysis or any other provider actually has like an API that provides responses with signatures? Because if they actually sign their responses from the API, we could directly integrate them on chain without having to build like an Oracle for it.
I'm not sure. I haven't talked to them, well, honestly, but it's just an idea. Because I know that this on the PEAT conference hosted by Jump Crypto at Chicago couple of weeks ago, I think it was one of the core points how to bring the IML and KYC solutions to the chain, because teams like yours, it's hard to monitor everything that happens across all blockchains, and there is already existing solutions to help even for government or for organizations, institutions to monitor crypto, and to use these solutions to facilitate the process in your business.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, Anton, this is something we were looking into for V2. Right now, what we're developing for V2 is kind of a baseline protocol that trusts a couple of different information providers that we can set up to be anyone that we would like. And essentially, they would be oracles for like Chain Analysis or like Elliptical or any other firms. And so people could choose which provider to trust, and that the trust of the protocol would be directly tied to the trust of the different providers that they would be using. So it kind of became more modular, something where we were exploring a lot.
Yeah, I do think like the next concept is that currently, like in Web2 and like across the digitalization of the everything we do have in the world, everybody mostly talks about the data, and that like big platforms or even small platforms, they do sell data. And I think the main trend and the main direction will be that this data needs to be provable. So the baseline will be the signature from the data provider to prove that actually this data provider has actually created this data response or data set. Actually, any type of data. And the second, possibly, it will be the commitment proof that this data actually exists or something else. So if, for example, I think chain analysis doesn't have any signature, but starting to push them, it will be a good idea because it's also a business for them.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I mean, thanks for the comments. Really gonna think about it for the V2 because we want to bring as much like credentiated players and as much trust into the system as possible. This looks like a great avenue for it.
Cool. Any other questions, guys?
If no one has questions, I'd also like to give a brief intro into our V2. So
Yep.
right now we work as a lot like Tornado Cash does, but with an AML feature. And the goal for V2 is actually to build a near private account, which is kind of an account abstraction concept. You'd be able to have an account that would look something like, let's say, Anton.opac, but near, something like that. That account would be working through our protocol, and its entire balance would be invisible, and you could initiate and receive transactions from this account without like showing who's initiating and who's receiving the transactions. And at the same time, it would be able to interact with different smart contracts based on some integrations. This is what we're working into. The roadmap for it is about 3 to 4 months of development from now. So we should have it online by the end of the year. Not going to share more details right now because it don't exist, but we are working on them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, Pedro, do you want to complement anything on the V2 and the like future developments?
It's more of a vision that we've been working on. Is that originally when we were looking for privacy on chain, mixers were the only option, and in order to actually bring, we do visualize that in order to bring adoption, and it doesn't matter what blockchain it is, you have to bring privacy within it. Otherwise, standard Web2 users, they just will not interact with Web3. So in order for us or for anyone, whomever it is, to build a privacy-focused solution, you have to not just build a mixer because it does not fit the final need for privacy, but we should focus on building tools that are actually able to integrate with what people will be using on Web3 on their day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like this is kind of the presentation of the entire product. I don't know if anyone has any other questions they want to ask, or on the technical side of things. We're here to talk about it. And if anyone's interested in using our verifier solution and using the libs we built, just you can just check out our repo. I'll send them over into the group chat there, or you can ping me directly and we can talk about it. Can help you guys set them up.
Yeah, that'd be great. You're going to drop them in the Telegram chat?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. I think we can move forward to the next topic. Okay, 1 second. Next topic is this is what is building now Zeropool with the privacy initiative. I'll just cover it briefly. Second. So what currently is bringing Zeropool team, also near, they do have the testnet with account abstractions. I think mostly what you have covered, Joy, before. and they do support account abstraction and some tools of yield farming in the dark pool. But the core thing we're expecting from them, I think this week, is to integrate their contract. Actually, they do have this contract, Zero Pool, and with fungible token contract, NAP 141, with their public methods. And it will allow not to deposit or withdraw the funds into separate contract, but to operate from the same contract. It will be a wrapped fungible token contract with actually with associated dark pool inside, both with account abstractions. So I think they will publish the core update to the end of this week, or possibly on the next week. And you can look also in research their approach. If you haven't previously done. Okay, does anyone has questions about this topic?
Rest here, Anton. Are they implementing any kind of AML features on the on Zero Pool? Do you know about it?
I know they're building it, definitely. I'm not sure what type of AML they're building. They're wanting to make the proof that your assets, something like the proof that assets are white, but not from mixers or from some hacks. But honestly, I don't know the approach they're moving in it. It's definitely not a good idea to create something like a chain analysis with provable compute, because it's a whole another project. But in general, I do think it should be something the same, or the idea I proposed with partnership with some of analytical tools who can provide like signature.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think I do believe for tools like chain analysis, it's a type of revenue stream. You can just charge several cents or several dollars per, just I give you my address and I want to receive some signature that assets on this address are okay and clear. Yeah, pay $5 and get this signature from chain analysis. Because I do think currently it will be implemented the same way with whitelisting. For example, if it's done off chain, that you need to onboard some KYC solution, and this KYC solution also uses some traceable tools like chain analysis, but they does not offer or name it chain analysis, but actually they can use the API, and that's all, and the same revenue streams. Because what I know is to build competitor to chain analysis, it's not easy way. It's definitely doable, and the approach is quite clear, but the operations and time you need is 1 or 2 years to make it proper production ready. Okay, let's jump on the third topic. Is Zero Knowledge Light client by the Spoken team. I'm a part of this team, and I'll just give a brief show what we do have achieved already. So we have released epoch blocks proving of near epoch block proving. Based on these epochs, you're able to prove target blocks inside the epoch, and you're able to sync fastly because currently NEAR has something around 2.5 thousand epochs, and this is actually like 2.5K epoch blocks unique. In these blocks, the validators list are changed, but inside the epoch it's constant. That's why we're able to rely on the transition between this validators list to prove actually the committee that will validate the next epoch, something around 43K blocks. And we do have achieved this speed of, here is like some benchmarks. It's 2 seconds per, around 2 seconds per one block, per one epoch block. But honestly, it's a bit faster with some optimizations done now. But to be clear, it currently does not include the signature proving. So it includes only one signature of block creator, and it does not cover the up to 100 of the validator signature. So it will be a bit more in timing than 2 seconds. But in general, we're currently integrating the whole 100 signatures to bench them. And we have done these tests and benchmarks on the server with 128 gigabytes of RAM and something around 48 CPUs. But the server, to be honest, is not AWS. It's something in the, I'm not sure, but it's quite old one. I think 2017 in Intel Xeon, but not the toppest version. Yeah, so I think this month we will release the full epoch blocks proving with signatures, and I think it will help lots of projects to use it as a zk-Lite client and integrate. We're working in 2 directions. One of them is to help near Ethereum bridge work on with zero knowledge proofs to verify Ethereum state on near state on Ethereum. Another team is building Ethereum state proving and validation in near. Its first point, and the second point is web clients and any other off-chain clients can benefit from verifiable state. As I know now, RPC of near RPC accepts and can respond you some data with Merkle proofs inclusion, but it's only in a test mode. And this state proof proving can help to validate whether the inclusion proof refers to the state root that is actually exist, and to validate the full response from the node. So I think this is quite it is about the zk-Lite client topic. If you do have questions. Okay, guys. I think we do have a first topic, which we have picked up just before our meeting. It was about zk NFT raised by. Sorry, 1 second. I'll check. Raised by Nate. Nate, are you with us?
Hello.
Hi.
I should just say what I think or go for it. So I'm not a zero knowledge proof expert by any means, just bringing to you guys what a lot of our clients are asking of us, which is unlockable content. I know what we used to do back in the day on ETH in 2019. We used to basically, on our servers, is everyone familiar with unlockable content? If I own this NFT, then I can go to a web page, and then that gives me access to sound files, all sorts of other things. So the centralized way of doing this is through decrypting something with our own password, and then basically we do a signature and we can check whether they are the actual owner of that signature, because we can match if they own it back and forth. But then, of course, now we're the owners of that bcrypt password. So my goal, and it might not even be zero knowledge proof, but I'm kind of just asking, is if this is the right direction to go down, is let's say we have Baron Davis, who's an NBA all-star guy who's going to be doing image licensing. So same concept, buy the NFT, unlocks the license for the larger assets. I really don't want to put another third party, like I think Darkblocks is one that solves this probably the same bcrypt way. Let's say Darkblocks falls apart and, you know, doesn't become a company anymore, then Baron Davis would be screwed because that bcrypt goes away and that whole process kind of goes away. Is zero knowledge proof something I should look into to help sort of verify if someone is the owner of a token without a third party solution that could basically unlock a system without needing a centralized password? Or am I going down the wrong direction? And if it's the right direction, how do I start putting our developers in the right direction?
Okay, may I rephrase what you have said and then align better to your question? So you do have some, like, let it be NFT with some secret you don't want to put inside NFT, but you want to transfer, share.
So let's say what we do is, like, we use Near for the NFT transaction. We use Arweave, another blockchain, to upload all the content, the metadata, the everything. When we upload content, I don't care if that data is easy to find. What we can do is we can encrypt a key and stick that in public facing view on the metadata. And that key can basically unlock the path to the Arweave file to actually get the bigger stuff. So we don't need to, like, encrypt the access or wherever it exists, whether it's on S3 or Arweave. I just need to stick something on Arweave, and then we need to verify with my wallet, you know, basically to unlock the path, to decrypt that and say, okay, this is the actual path going that direction. That would be a big win.
So the question is whether you you're able to transfer, provably transfer the ownership from one user of the secret to another in a transaction where user will pay for it and receive a secret in exchange.
Yeah, only the true owner of the wallet and the owner of the token can unencrypt this
Okay, yeah.
variable.
The thing is that I think you're able to do this, but it's not an easy way. Because you want to prove, not only prove that you do own some secret under some public state. For example, it can be a hash of this secret, of this path, but you want to prove and then transfer. So in this case, I do think that the second part, like like someone wants to buy this secret, actually the path and the token itself. So actually he buys the token, but he wants not only to buy the token, but also a path associated with it. And the thing is that he needs to provide you some key of, I think, symmetric encryption. And in this way that the seller, actually current owner, should encrypt the secret with this key that is only able to decrypt by the buyer, and create a proof. Seller should create a proof that this output, encrypted key, encrypted secret, is corresponding to the actual hash of the secret inside an NFT. And with this, you can sell in one transaction, sell the NFT. So the
in
owner,
one transaction. So then
So
the seller
you
who
will-
now has the unlockable thing.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
So it's something like it's done with Bitcoin transfers. I mean, trustless transfers. So you prove that you know such. So actually, you prove that you know such secret, and then you encrypt the secret with the key of the new owner, and new owner needs to pay you. And in exchange, he receives this secret, encrypted secret, and the proof that while he will decrypt this secret, the secret will correspond to this exactly secret of the NFT.
So every single time they transfer, we have to generate a new secret to transfer that. So let's say I'm the seller, I buy it, now I can unlock
Yep.
the files, now I'm done with it, I go and sell it to someone else. Then we have to generate a new proof.
Exactly.
that be tricky?
Each time you want to prove that you know the secret, you need to, and each time you need to create a proof. It's one point. Another point you need to consider that Near is expanding to its infrastructure to cold storage, and like what currently is promoting by Near is BOS operational system. That they will accept not only the hot storage that is currently performed with contracts, but also cold storage, where you can store web UIs, you can store some other data sets and corpuses. They are performing indexing. So actually you'll be able to even to store some databases inside this cold storage. It will be a separate payable storage. I think it's now already has these methods, but it's not accepted. You're currently only able to store in a hot storage, but there is already some interfaces for cold storage. You need to research it, I think, because it gives you an ability not to go to IPFS or something else. It's something which is done on Tron blockchain, where they do have IPFS integrated to the blockchain itself. So the Near expanding the same approach. And they will do have both storage and blockchain storage.
And so generating these proofs, where do we jump into? Is it the light client that we would dive into? What repo should we, not myself, where should I send my Rust guy to do a little research?
It's not the light client, definitely. So if we cover the first part of this discussion, so I think you need to generate proof for hashing, and then find some proper solution. I mean, some gadgets for symmetric cryptography. I'll look for it, I think, and try to respond to you in the chat, because for SHA-256, I think like one of the best solutions was performed by our team and by Jump Crypto. I think we currently have synced our BOS solutions. And I think it's publicly available on our repository and also on Jump Crypto repository. So that it's proving that you know the input for the hash. And the point about symmetric signatures, I need to research, because I haven't looked at it I think for some time.
Neat. I'll add Till to our to this group, Zero Knowledge, and then this is gonna be a recording I can send to him as well.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks.
Yeah, I feel one question I had on Nate's problem is about like selling the NFTs on marketplaces. Because if you do list it on a marketplace, and so anyone can buy it, and you cannot generate like a proof that you have actually encrypted the secret with the receiver's key beforehand, it would have to be generated after someone has accepted to buy it. So
Exactly.
I feel like this NFT you're building this way, Nate, would not be able to be sold in marketplace. It would only sell it directly, which might be an issue.
I do think it's definitely like a 2 or 3 step process. First of all, but there is a waste for optimization, because, for example, rather than symmetric cryptography, you can try to use, for example, it also cover about the working with wallets. But in general, you can go, for example, and try to use like ED 25519 asymmetrics, like these curves, and try to use its public and private key for your own approach to encrypt and then decrypt using these keys. I'm not sure whether it currently accepts. I'm 100% sure there is no circlets to prove it, but I think there is some ways you can use existing gadgets rather than creating some new ones. And it's definitely the point where the seller needs to create separate proof associated to exact buyer. But it also can be done in some way automatically, I think. For example, as you're doing in like hide your cache, or the new name, I honestly haven't remembered it. So OPEC. Yeah. So like you do have the Relias network, and you can deposit your NFT and say by which price you want to buy it, you want to sell it, sorry. And if someone accepts, he just transfer money, and Relayer will generate by use in some way a proof. No, it will not generate, but okay. Anyway, I do think there is a way how to optimize this process.
Agree. Totally.
Okay, thank you for your topic. We have 8 minutes left, and if we have no other topics to discuss, I think so. Yeah, sorry, there is a point in the chat. Seller generates proof with min base, and then buyer generates proof back with min base. No, the buyer just need to provide the key, encryption key for a seller, and seller needs to encrypt the secret with this key, and in the same transaction, while he will transfer this encrypted key, he needs to provide a proof that this key corresponds exactly to the secret hidden under the exact NFT he's selling. And buyer in this transaction will just pay, and only buyer will have the key to decrypt the secret encrypted by the seller. I think I have answered your question. If you do have some more questions, you can just reach Zero Knowledge Community Group, and we can discuss it in the Telegram. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. It was really nice presentation.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for your participation and for your engagement, and see you on the next community group call.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Have a good day.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Bye.